Hello, good evening. Tonight's live around 5. My name is Amy, and I'm here to share amazing tips to help you become resilient in your life. I've realized that throughout my life, resilience has been my superpower. I'm not great at avoiding challenges, just like any of us. I have a normal life with tons of challenges in my business, in my personal life, in every regard. But my superpower is knowing how to be resilient and knowing how to teach people how to be that way. I learned this throughout my entire lifetime, and I've created an entire course to help you do the same. Tonight's specific slice of that is how to be resilient when treating Bell's palsy. If you're not familiar, Bell's palsy, and actually this applies to any illness, right? Any trauma or illness, like how do you bounce back when something big happens? Bell's palsy is when you experience trauma to your seventh cranial nerve and half your face is usually paralyzed. It can be temporary or permanent. The degrees of paralysis wildly vary. And tonight I've actually not worn my WavWatch, which is one of my modalities of therapy that I use, sound therapy, so you can kind of see the residual effects that I have from Bell's palsy. You'll notice my right eye is somewhat smaller. People are like, can you just open it more? And no, it's not about effort. It's about muscle death, I think, right? There's just nothing here from where it was paralyzed. You'll also notice that my mouth is not symmetrical. I can't do he doesn't come to the party. This impacted my life in a variety of ways, including making it more difficult to eat. Your eye freezes open. So, if you're experiencing that, know that I have some tips and tricks for how to address that and how to help you through it. And I feel for you. I'm cheering for you. I believe in your full restoration. But how do you stay resilient through it? And I think the first thing is that you've got to understand what causes it and try to not just treat the symptoms, but see what you can do to eliminate the recurrence. So I've had Bell's palsy twice, so I appreciate the power of having it more than once. And what I began to realize is that throughout my life, when I was exposed to harsh chemicals in cleaning or maybe walk through a candle store or things like that, I was very sensitive to smells and tastes. And I often related that to my hormones. But in fact, it turned out that I just wasn't able to handle the toxic load that I exposed myself to all the time. My assumption was if I could buy it at a big box store or just my local store, that it had to be safe. I couldn't possibly being exposed to anything dangerous. And in fact, when I got sick, I asked my doctor, how could this happen? And he said they don't really understand how it happens. They're not sure what the causality is, but I certainly connected the fact that what I was doing, if it was just what was in my toothpaste, well, that's allowed through the different regulations that we have. If it was just what was in my makeup, that's allowed through the regulations that we have. My cleaning, my laundry, all the things, all the products that I was using, all the air that I was breathing, it turns out every single one of those independently is okay. Those microaggressions added up to my system failure. I couldn't process all the stuff that was around me all the time. And so I slowly and carefully started detoxing my home in a super affordable way. And I found a different way to live that was just as simple, maybe more affordable, certainly smells better, and preserved my health. Because in fact, we experience over 300 chemicals every single morning just getting ready as women, whether it's our lotions or our soaps. And over time, our bodies struggle to manage that toxic load. So everything added up for me and it impacted me all at once. So my suggestion to you is to see what is surrounding you. If you have a lot of fake smells or fragrance in the air and you often have migraines, those may be connected. We're learning more and more about this in the United States. And a lot of the times, what's already illegal in other countries is still legal here, simply because there was one sweeping regulation that actually grandfathered in over 3,000 chemicals under the word fragrance. So when you read the word fragrance, you might be thinking, oh, that can't be harmful. It can definitely be a challenge for us. It can have endocrine disruptors, it can have all sorts of impacts on our health. A good place to look at information for this would be EWG. They do a great job of kind of sourcing what's safe and giving you feedback on what you can use that's safe. And a lot of the times, you can get that over the counter in a store. Just be thoughtful because they're not always, there's something called greenwashing. And greenwashing is like fresh and clean. you're thinking, oh, that must be healthy. And then when you look at it, it turns out there's 48 chemicals listed. It's not that healthy. So for me, part of what helped me was knowing that I was setting the stage for my future success, and my healing was increased, I believe, by creating an environment that was more conducive to my health, that supported my health more. The second thing is there are lots of treatment options. It doesn't always feel that way when you go see your doctor. And I certainly recommend that you follow anything that Western medicine is recommending. That is typically going to be a steroid treatment and an antiviral treatment. I had Bell's palsy 15 years apart, and the treatment protocol for Western medicine didn't change at all. That shocked me. I thought in that period of time, something that affects over 40,000 Americans a year would have been researched and there would be more resources, but I was wrong. There isn't. So don't stop there. Definitely follow your doctor's orders, but I would add more things to that. I found things that helped me a lot 20 years into my journey. I found the WavWatch. If you had told me that 20 years in, I was going to be looking better and feeling better, makeup would be easier for me to put on, salads would be easier to eat, I would be sleeping better because I had more control over my facial muscles, I would have laughed. I mean, at a certain point, you start to feel like you've done as much as you can do. But regardless of the health issue that you're battling, I want to give you inspiration and let you know that after 20 years, I did find something to help. And tomorrow night for that video, I will wear it so you can see the actual difference. The other thing I would say is that when you're living with Bell's palsy or any illness, attitude really does make a big difference. Now, this doesn't mean acting like everything's okay when it's not, but it can really help you just to look at the silver linings that are possible. Without Bell's palsy, I never would have made some major changes in my life that really created a healthier environment for me emotionally, spiritually, and physically. And so it was kind of a call to action for me to stop waiting to live my life, to make some big changes based on how I was feeling and what I was going through that set me up for success in these next years. And it also gave me an entirely new perspective on every product in my home, gave me a business, helped me reach out to other people. I probably get messages a couple of times a week from people who have or have friends that have Bell's palsy, and I'm always happy to share all of my experiences. I have a 10-point protocol that I recommend and just some advice, right? Because when you've already been through something, you're the best person to help somebody who's just experiencing it for the first time. So you can learn more about my WavWatch, which is my new favorite thing, by following this link. And if you use my code AmyW, you'll get $100 off. If you'd like to know more about how I started detoxing my home, you can follow that link to Young Living. And of course, we all know that underlying every disease is going to be inflammation. For me in particular, with the inflammation of the seventh cranial nerve, that's what caused the damage because it's encased in bone. It's got nowhere to go. That's why I'm such an advocate of my 11-day Jumpstart that I've been participating in. There's a huge group of us that are doing it. The first time we did it was in January for a long time, and over 1,400 people participated. It's launching again February 6th, and you can be a part of it. All you need are the supplements to do it, and I can give you the link to that. Everything else is free. We're talking about meal planning, exercising, daily coaching, and an incredible group of people that are all working to decrease the inflammation in their life. Will you see weight loss on the 11-day Jumpstart? Absolutely. I lost 6 pounds. My goal is to do that again in this next month and again in the third month because I'm sticking to it. I have to tell you that for me, I immediately saw my face looked different. My fingers felt different. The inflammation that I lost by making simple, affordable changes. Once you get the supplement, everything else you probably either have at home or could get at the local grocery store. And being part of a community that helped me stick with it, and even if I was having a hard day, kind of inspired me. They gave me choices with my kids, with eating out, with sweets. There's just so much flexibility that it worked for me, even though a lot of things haven't worked in the past. If you're like me and you're getting to that age where it's not as easy to lose weight as it was before, this really changed the game for me, and it taught me so much that I'll be able to carry through the rest of my life. So that's some tips about Bell's palsy. I hope it's been helpful. Share this with someone who's experiencing that. Feel free to reach out to me and I'll share my protocol and my tips because until you've been through it, it's hard to know how to help a friend or how to help yourself. So I hope tonight is an amazing night for you, that you stay warm and cozy and safe, and that I look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow, Tuesday, live around 5. Take care, everybody. I love you so much.